Welcome back to the Sports Business Leaders Podcast. Today we're joined by Travis Hollman. Thanks for joining the show, Travis.
Thanks for having me.
Travis Hollman is the owner and CEO of Hollman Inc., the world's largest manufacturer of sports, fitness, and office locker solutions. Under his leadership, the company has partnered with elite organizations across the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, helping teams and brands design high-performance spaces that shape culture, identity, and experience. Now, beyond manufacturing, Travis is a serial entrepreneur, investor, and television personality. His work today spans sports infrastructure, workplace innovation, and business development with some of the most recognizable organizations in the world. So, again, Travis, welcome to the show. Please tell us more about how you got here and more about your entrepreneurial journey.
I mean, Holman was started 50 years ago now by my father, which was an avid racquetball player at the time. And back then they were doing, there was no such thing as fitness at the time. There was country clubs, there were tennis clubs, and racquetball came in, became a big deal. They built all these racquetball clubs. We were doing 30, 40, racquetball courts inside of a club. Um, and this was back in the early '70s. My dad found a way to use a panelized system for walls instead of a concrete tilt-up. And, the history behind current fitness is racquetball started, jazzercise started. They started in one court. One court got torn down into two courts. Then, Nautilus, remember you might be too young, but they had this Nautilus machine that was kind of a square that had everything on one machine. That started getting plopped inside of racquetball courts, and the modern fitness clubs grew from racquetball. Um, we just got rid of our racquetball division 3 years ago. No one's playing it anymore in our squash division, and we got in lockers in the, mid '80s, '85, and since then, we've just grown that business. We do everything from all the, LA Fitnesses, Equinoxes, and, Orange Theories, Planet Fitnesses, all those Crunch, all that kinda stuff to all of the golf courses and then corporate centers of all the flat office space has given us a leg into all the corporate centers from JP Morgan to Goldman Sachs to, everybody you can, I mean, Red Bull, everybody you can imagine. And then, we're very heavily into what you guys probably want to talk about is the athletics of college sports, um, but and pro sports, and actually even now it's going down into high school sports. We're having a lot more high schools join with big, locker rooms, and it's kind of been the growth of our business. This year, the sales in that, area of our business will be almost 50% of our sales.
Yeah, it's exciting and definitely being in Texas, I think you're in the heart of high school football and I'm sure have a lot of opportunities down there. So that's exciting and appreciate the background, Travis. And also too, just for everybody to listen, can you tell us more about the company in addition to what you just mentioned with your background?
Yeah, I mean, the company was started, you know, by my father. I came here in the '90s, arrived in the, early '90s, 2001. I ran it for about 5 years. 2001, my dad came back. He was over in Asia for a long time, came back and decided he wanted to run this company and, swiftly fired me. Um, I went out after that. I went out and started a company with my friend, the Marshmallow Fun Company. We made the marshmallow guns. We did Bully Beatdown on MTV with Mark Burnett. I did a TV, we produced a movie called Rain with Faye Dunaway and Giancarlo Esposito and Robert Loggia and Candy Alexander and Berkle Sedano. And then we did just a bunch of things. I owned bars, I've owned spas, I've owned everything. And, it's interesting. This is was a family business. I've had it now for quite a while, but, you know, it's just one of those things. I've always understood this business. I've always loved it, talking to people we talk to. We get to talk to people from athletic directors to coaches to people that own gyms to, I mean, Augusta, the head guys at Augusta National to, all the big golf courses. It's just a real fun business for me. And I would tell anybody looking to get into business, find something you like and find something that comes naturally. I always tell people when I was in the TV business, if you asked me a question, I could literally flip a coin because I had no idea what the answer was. For just naturally I didn't know. In this business, um, I get about 90% right, and it's a natural thing. So fits my personality, fits what I do. I love the customers, and it's nice. We're the biggest, and it allows us to, we've got a great R&D team here that really gets to do some fun things that no other company has. We've got buying power that no other company has and resources. So it allows us to keep our pricing in line and create a really cool product. And I mean, we're doing the University of Oregon right now, which is going to be insane. We just got done putting Notre Dame in, which is very cool. Texas Tech has the nicest locker room in the country right now. That's of course every time we do a locker room, someone's trying to outdo the next guy. And we just every time we get phone calls, it's, "Hey, what have you done before? What could you do that you think's really cool?" And so we've got a whole staff here, and we just talk about it every week. And even though we're a 50-year-old company, by having the exciting things going on, it really allows our company to keep feeling like almost a startup because every day we're trying new things and trying to do new things. And the college, especially the college football programs, are the ones that are pushing the envelope all the time, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I went through the college football recruiting process, and myself personally, I was a Division III player, but I had some friends that were going D1, and this was back in I graduated high school about 10 years ago now, and, just thinking about it back then and where it's come today, it's really crazy with the locker rooms and the way the teams are impressing the kids with these locker rooms, which a lot of times are even nicer than an NFL locker room. So it's cool that you get to play a big part in that, Travis. And just for everybody within SPL, one of the big things that everybody is trying to do is work with teams, and a large part is within the pro sports, the pro teams lane. So you've successfully done that, and I think the audience would find a lot of value in just hearing about some of the advice that you would like to share about what actually matters to pro teams today when they evaluate potential partners and vendors to work with.
You know, um, it's different. Pro teams are interesting. Pro teams for our type of vendor relationship, most of that is coming through a general contractor, and it's more like it's run more like a big business. They've got a architect, they've got a spec, which is normally us, and it's normally dealing with the architect and not as much the pro team itself. Sometimes you have pro teams that are really involved, like we just did the Green Bay Packers. They're really involved, and then you have it. We're doing the Tennessee Titans new stadium right now. Um, the architect drew it. I don't even know, if Tennessee's looked at it carefully. They've got a whole stadium to build, $1.5 billion, $2 billion stadium. So they look at specs and architectural stuff. Anyway, but college sports are usually done through the college, and there's a lot more things going on there. What we found out lately is with NIL, there's a lot of push to have us involved with their NIL program as part of, doing work at the colleges. So it's really changed the way things are going. They want the lockers, but they also are looking for, quote, quote, a partnership to continue us doing lockers at the universities, but also to help them out with some of their NIL needs. And, it's really changing the game. It's an interesting thing. How much, how does it eat into your margins? What does it look like? What does your relationship with the university look like over those things? Um, and what you're willing to do and what they're willing to do and how it all works. But as you know, NIL is an interesting thing. There's certain buckets that they can get money out of, and certain companies that can use NIL players, and certain companies that have a hard time doing it. In Holman, because we're a national firm and we're in the sports business, they see us, I think, as an easier partner in some of the NIL money. Um, you know, they get money, a lot of donors and stuff will donate money, but they want their names on things and everything else, which goes directly to the facilities program, which they cannot use for NIL. So it's a really interesting time we're in. I don't know what's gonna happen with it, but it's definitely got, on a weekly basis, our business inside of college sports is changing right now, and I would look forward to I hate government involvement in anything, but someone to put the brakes on a little bit so we can figure out what we're doing because we don't even know half the time. We're getting hit with different things literally weekly that we don't even
Yeah,
know. We don't understand it. It's very hard. We actually have a person coming on board just to deal with NIL right now, because it's such a big ask and a big part of our business and going forward strategy.
definitely. Yeah, it's everybody says it, but it really is just a crazy world with NIL just changing every single day and week and month. It's just always something new is happening, and it's I think been only about 5 or 6 years since it even became a thing. Because when I was in college, I graduated in 2021. It wasn't you couldn't even have NIL money as an athlete. So it's crazy, and I think that's actually another point which is important, which is just to be flexible with the times, and it's something that seems like you've been really successful doing. And so, for companies that are trying to break into doing business with teams, and I know we hit on some points earlier, but can you maybe talk about a few more pieces of advice from a maybe a sales perspective on how to navigate those conversations?
Sure. If you're trying to get into the college market, first of all, you know, we've been around for so long. So the first college football uh, job that was done for lockers was done at Oklahoma State University with T. Boone Pickens himself with our company 2006. So doing athletics has been not very long for us. But before that, we did racquetball courts and squash courts, and we did their rec centers, and they all had rec centers. So we've been into college sports for, almost 40 years now. And when you get into the facilities part, we sell to facilities, which are the people that, deal with the buildings. And once you get into the facilities, they tend to, um, it's like any industry. College sports is very, looks huge. It's really not. There's certain players, they move around a lot. Once you get into people that like you and do a good job, you can, I mean, we follow D1 ticker and we'd follow them around. So if I was going to get into it, I would find a school near where you are. I would try to get in with your product to that school. I would attempt to at once you get in, get to know some of the people in the type of people you're selling to. If it's facilities, if it's equipment managers, if it's coaches, whoever's buying, whoever's the decision maker, athletic directors, whoever it is, they all know each other. Do a great job and see if they can help you expand your business from there. But you got to get your foot in the door. And the best thing I would do is I would go local first and then expand out from there. I learned a long time ago, I was in the drink business, you can expand too fast and kind of ruin what you've got going. It'd be better to start if you're, in Dallas, go down to, SMU, my account, but don't go there, but go down to SMU or whoever or TCU and start small and then start, asking them, hey, who else might need my services? Can you help me out with a phone call? They all know each other. It is not at the coaching level and the team level, it is a very competitive game. They, might, quote, quote, "hate each other." Like, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, you're a Philly fan, we don't like each other, but that's on that level. When it gets down to the equipment managers, they like each other. When it gets down to the coaches, they all coach somewhere together, and they know each other, and they do like each other. You see coach very tight industry inside of the, inside the industry.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, and what I always come back to, Travis, is just if you have a truly valuable product and you do a good job, they're gonna tell their friends, and just like you mentioned, I think that's something really important is to if you can just get your foot in the door with one person and you truly have something valuable, all you really have to do from there is ask, "Who else should we be talking to?" Do you have anything else you wanted to expand on that point?
No, I think it's just having a good product. The harder things now is things are getting bigger and more complex. So, obviously having a company that's been around a long time, it's harder for new products to get in. So new products, you're gonna have to go local. Bigger companies are a little bit different. We're on the spec sheets and whatnot, which makes it, you know, we might not know somebody at Northern Ohio, whatever, but if we're spec that there, we know the architect, you're in that direction. The architects are real good gatekeepers, they're harder to get into. So if you had a product like ours, or something that sells like that, I would probably go straight to the university. It's gonna be much easier to get through, get a friendly look that way than going through the architectural firms. Because the architectural firms, if they're gonna put their stamp on it, they're gonna pick a company like Holman because they know we build the product, they know we build it right, we've been we're not going broke, we're not nothing's happening to us, we can service the product, we can warranty the product, um, and everything is engineered and, it's crazy. Something as easy as a door that comes out and, pocket doors out and covers. Um, it took us over 10 different pocket doors, over 3 years of testing to finally get to one that worked, and the little companies just don't have that, so that's why the architects stay away from a lot of the littler guys, and that's just in my industry, but all the stuff. So if you've developed a new football or a new helmet that's great or whatever, you're gonna have to get with a coach, you're gonna have to give them the data behind it, and you're gonna have to figure out who's gonna give you that first test. Now, interestingly enough, the big high schools, their coaches are getting poached by colleges right now, and high school with NIL, you know who's the good players. You can hook up with players and people to take you to where you wanna go that are even in high school at this point in time that are gonna move forward. So there's so much data out there with statistical data and whatever. There's so many companies now involved. I mean, you can go find a great high school. I mean, there's a kid that plays for my son's high school. It's quarterback. He'll be fantastic. He will probably go pro. He's a sophomore right now. If he keeps developing, he's fantastic. You might grab on somebody like him and, start getting, footballs. If you got a new football, get that football in that guy's hand. Get those receiving, receiving gloves in some of these high school players because they have more power than they've ever had, especially with NIL coming and with every team almost 100% changing every year. I mean, Baylor, they had a basketball team. I This was last year. What I read was they lost their entire starting team to NIL. All of them gone. No people. They have to
Yeah.
start over. I mean, I was up with we're talking to the coach at Oklahoma State the other day, and I believe that I don't know if this number is exactly right, but I believe he just went from North Texas to become the coach up there, and he's got 50, I think it was like 54 new people on that team this year. That's a whole team. He only traveled with I think 54 or 65 or something. I don't know the number, but it's almost the entire team. And high schools are doing the same thing for especially the private high schools. They're recruiting, people are coming in and it's just it's an interesting thing, but there's a lot of people to get to now. There's a lot of movement. And when they move around, if you've got a good product and they're moving around, the coaches moving around or whatever, they're going to take that good product to the next place. So these coaches aren't like I'm a lot older than you, but they'd always they'd be coaching some 20 years. Doesn't happen much anymore. The equipment manager would be there, start that job at the, Oakland A's and die with the Oakland A's. I mean, doesn't happen anymore. They get
Yeah.
job offers, they move, but they all know each other. So you get a
Yeah.
good product, get it in with somebody, and then, you know, try to work your business from there. If I was starting out, if I was a smaller company, that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you sharing that, Travis. And the biggest thing with entrepreneurship is you're solving a problem. And I think that's something that everybody has to keep in mind is just that whether you're starting up with a new idea or creating a new business, you just have to truly understand what are the problems of your target market. So I'm just curious, since Holman has been around for 50 years and it sounds like you've been involved in the company for about 20 years or maybe more than that. What do the problems look like from an entrepreneurial standpoint and for the teams and how have they changed over the last, like, 20 years or so?
I mean, the '90s were great. The '90s were just fax machines and sending product out. I mean, what do you want? I want a locker that's 6 feet tall, 15 inches wide, that's got a, cherry front with a cherry stain on it with a, brass key. You got that. Then the internet came, and the internet really was great for that, but terrible for companies like ours because now everybody's changing things and changing things and changing things and changing things. FedEx, wasn't big back then. It became a big thing. Now they want samples the next day and this and that. Now you got Zoom calls and everybody wants to talk and show you and discuss things. And the world's just getting has gotten a lot more complicated. Um, the amazing thing is with AI coming out, and we are very much focused on AI, it's starting to simplify that complication. Give you an example. We would get a set of plans maybe for say the Las Vegas A's, their drawings. Their drawings are their spec sheets are thousands of pages long, okay? They would send it to us, and this happens all the time. They go, "Hey, we made a change. You go through your scope of work, and if it affected you, let us know within 24 hours." We have people literally that used to be there every day going, "Oh my god, what change did they make? Did it affect us?" And it could be they changed a toilet to they lost a toilet in one place in the stadium. I mean, who cares? It has nothing to do with lockers. We have to start looking through all these sections, and it comes some of these things come out almost every day, especially when they're going through all these designs. Now with AI, we just throw that in AI, what did the change affect us? Where is it? AI can dig through all that stuff. So there's a lot of AI is really gonna change the speed to which things happen. Um, we are embracing at our company in a lot of different ways. But if you got a new company now, if you want to do business with sports or with anybody, you need to embrace that because it's amazing. This it's going to get. I hope it's going to get back to the simplicity is almost the fax machine where you know it's an easy business again. But the internet really made our business difficult, and AI is starting to make it easier again. And we're very excited about it. And I think anybody, um, there's so many ways to make money out there in the world, but as an entrepreneur, if I give you an example, I just was reading about this kid up in Oklahoma. He was he went out to all these, AI. He went out to all these little companies that didn't have websites. So he'd look on, down, I'm going to go buy fried chicken today, and there's two fried chicken companies. There's phone numbers, but there's no websites. He called and said, "I'll build your website for $500." Throws in AI. It's built in 2 or 3 minutes, and supposedly he's making like 30 grand a month. And he just got out of college. Here recently, I read an article a couple weeks ago about him. I mean, so many ways to make money now, but I would embrace AI in anything you're doing, and that's going to complicate, save you money, save you time, and run your ideas through it. If you got an idea for a new product, run it through it, see what it says. And it might help you with stuff. We're running everything through it now, and it's interesting. We're going, wow, we didn't even think about that, or a lot of it's stuff with because of all the stuff we've got on the marketplace. We're like, heck, all half of this stuff came from us. So it's interesting to see that way too.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great point. It's just a great reminder keep top of mind the fact that you have to stay up with the times, and example about AI and just the fact that you have to make customization for every single client that you work with and think about their problems and tailor your product to whatever it is that they're working on. Is yesterday I had a company that was on the podcast and they're working on helping with the experiences in stadiums, and he gave me an example of instead of like with a loyalty program, for example, instead of just giving a fan 15% off when they go to the stadium, um, AI is able to actually help figure out what exactly they bought when they were at a game and what inning of the game they or of the baseball game they bought it in. So they're on the app able to say, "Okay, fan, you can go buy your beer at this specific vendor in this part of the stadium." So in addition to what you said with AI, I think it really is gonna become a game changer and just creates so many different opportunities in not only not only the sports space, but as you kind of alluded to, the whole world in general.
Yeah, I know McDonald's was doing something if you're a return customer trying to figure out what you're gonna order before you order it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So they're
wild.
ready for him.
So
Yeah, here, Travis, here's what you want for McDonald's. I'm like, "Hey, that was what I was gonna order. Thank you for
yeah,
noticing.
yeah,
I'll I'll get off my diet now and add some weight."
yeah. Cool. Well, no, again, Travis, I really appreciate you sharing all this. Any last words that you'd like to share with our sports business leaders audience today?
No, I think if you're listening to this and you're in the sports world, you know, I you've got a great future. Sports are really hot right now. Our business is doing great because fitness is at an all-time high. Golf is rocking. And everybody's watching live TV. Everything else is coming from Netflix, which you can watch the whole season at one time. So live sports is a huge industry, just getting bigger. We thought with NIL coming, we really thought because my normal locker room on a college is about double what a pro's locker room is. And the pros always said, "Hey, we pay the players. We don't need to give them what they need, everything they want." Colleges was like, "We're recruiting. We need everything." So we thought it would change. It did not. It's just piling more and more money in these sports. They're getting more and more popular. They're getting bigger. Um, they're getting better to watch. So if you're in this business, stay in the business. Um, AI is not going to replace this business, but you're going to have to use AI to keep up in your business. But you're in a good spot if you're in the sports business right now. I think you're in a very good spot that's got a bright future ahead of it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And what would the best way for the audience be to keep in touch with you and learn more about Holman?
I mean, you can go to Holman.com, follow us on Holman Lockers on Instagram. You can follow me, Travis Holman, on Instagram or X. Um, I'm on LinkedIn. I think it's just Travis Holman. I don't even know. But I've got quite a few followers on all those because of what we've done. And so there's some of the stuff we're doing is neat to follow. I mean, especially on our Instagram page, there's really unique stuff coming out. It's phenomenal if you're interested in the latest happening in college sports. And the thing about lockers that's interesting, no one ever thinks about this. It is the only place in somebody else's business that's your own. When you go to college, you go to your fitness club, you go to your golf club, you share every single thing except that locker. So we really focus on making these things spectacular, um, and someplace that is just for you, because it's the only thing you get when you get inside of an organization. So there's some cool stuff to see out there. Follow us on Instagram would be the best at Holman Lockers, and we'd love to see you and love to hear from you.
All right. Travis Holman, owner and CEO of Holman Inc. Thanks for joining the show.